Rev up your engines! Okay, today we're going to talk about the best made American car. This is a 2011 Honda Accord. You might think, what do you mean American car? It's a Honda. Yeah, they made over 11 million of these Accords in Ohio. If you can't get more middle America than Ohio, right? Probably one of the best made American cars of all time. The Honda Accord. This particular one has over 200,000 miles on it. Honda was smart. Make them in the United States, right? The Chinese now, they're all going to be peed because Joe and his friends, as long as he's around, they said they're going to put a big tariff on Chinese vehicles, 100%, they say. Now, they're not mentioning, of course, that GM makes Buicks in China and they bring them over here. They're kind of not saying whether they're going to be included in the tariff or not, but hey, this Honda Accord, along with 11 million others, was built in Ohio, and they can certainly stand the test of time. This one's got over 200,000 miles. To give you an idea how these things last, this guy's 29 now. He bought it as a junior in high school, used, right? With over 100,000 miles. Now it's gone over 200,000 miles. He's still driving it. That's a testimony in itself. Now, if you look under the hood, it's still got the original 4-cylinder engine. It does not burn oil. It's still got the original transmission. Now, he did have a clunk on him a while ago, and he saw a broken motor mount, so he said, what the heck, and he replaced them all, which only makes sense. And he did have a CV axle brake, so he replaced the front ones, and he said, sad to say, I used aftermarket ones, and I told him, I use them all the time, and as he just said, he did it himself. The effort was not much. It's very easy to work on these things. 4-cylinder engines, a lot of working room. But other than that, and tires and the occasional brake job, he changes the oil and drives the thing around. They were really well-made vehicles. He changes the fluids like every 50,000 miles, 40,000 miles, the radiator, the transmission fluid. He takes care of his vehicles, and hey, you can see most of these parts are still original. I mean, that's still the original alternator. Look at it, it's still working. And one of the most interesting things about this Honda Accord is over 200,000 miles on it, and it's a 2011. You notice it's not rusting? The bottom's still solid as can be too. Now let's see how the interior has fared. This is one reason you might think about fabric interior. All right, this thing is still in excellent shape. If this was leather, this would all be torn up and everything. It's still in excellent shape. You got the key, and yes, it's an actual key because it's on the car. None of that crap with keyless remotes, a real parking brake that actually works. Nicely set up dash. Notice it's not sticky like some of those Lexuses that go bad. The only thing here is this top of the steering wheel is worn out from the sun. I personally wouldn't weave a leather one on. I like weaving the leather ones on. Then you got a leather one. You can easily do that. It's an Accord. Tons of space in the back, big trunk, but it does have over 200,000 miles, so out with the big scan tool. So here we go. We're going to do diagnostics. I hear it beeping, so it's doing its thing. We'll just wait a second. There it is. It automatically figured it out without me going any further. We'll do standalone diagnosis. Knows the VIN number, USA Accord, 2011. It's an old car. This Autel scanner's accident. It's still going to do a topology scan. So here we go with the scan. And while it's scanning, we'll kind of look around. Like I said, the dash is still in good shape. He's taking care of it. The AC still works. Now, we are in dinosaur technology, though. It has an FM AM and a CD player, but it does have an aux. The silvering on the rearview mirror is starting to fade. You can see it going out, but what the heck. 100% done, and it's only found 4 trouble codes, so let's check out the codes. Anti-lock braking, which I never expect to still work on something this old. And what does it say? Okay, permanent. Modulator control power source circuit low voltage. Per usual, I'm going to erase these codes. At some point in time, he could add a low battery. It'll have that. It'll keep the code forever until somebody like me comes with one of these nice machines and erases it. So we're going to erase that. We'll erase that stupid code. And the airbag system. I never expect them to work all that well either. Front passenger's weight sensor. Rear inner side. So it doesn't weigh the passenger correctly. Well, he's the only one in the car most of the time. And he's not driving it from the passenger side. Okay, and the last code is the tire pressure monitoring system. I never expect them to work either when they're this old. It says says tire pressure 3, signal failed, and tire pressure 4. Okay, told me he's replaced 6 of them already. They keep breaking. There's batteries anyway. Tire pressure gauges are cheap. Just live with that. And he's already spent a bunch of money, and it keeps breaking, so who cares? Tire pressure gauges work fine. So let's start her up. Check some of the live data here. And we'll go over here to live data, and away we go. Remember, black's good, red's bad. Let's start checking things out here. It looks normal so far. Target throttle and throttle, they're both the same. And here's the air fuel sensor, okay. 0.01, 0.02. It's either 1/100th or 2/100th off. Pretty close to perfect considering that this thing has over 200,000 miles on it. Continue on. Everything's black like it should be. Even shows you the rocker. Oil control signals, fuel injector milliseconds, that's normal. It has one total misfire on cylinder number 1. That's it. He's owned this cars all those years, put over 100,000 miles on it. He hasn't changed the spark plugs yet. He's got it set in the trunk. He's gonna do it because, hey, look, here's his little book. And starting around COVID time, he's like me. He writes everything down when the fluids and things are done, so he knows. I wrote that in my book years ago. Everyone's Guide to Buying a Used Car and Car Maintenance. Get a little notepad, stick it in there, put it down. So one, you know you're taken care of, and two, you know you won't get ripped off by some guy says, you need to change your coolant. Oh no, I did that 20,000 miles ago. I don't need to do that yet. No thanks. Handy. Do like he does. Get one of these, and don't do like he did. Change the spark plugs more often. He's going to put the spark plugs in, and that'll solve his problem. Now, it's an old car, so there's no backup camera. He didn't add one in, so I got to look. Think it's old. Does it shake? No, and the AC is on, too, so it's got some strain to it. This baby still has the original struts. And here we go on the original crappy Rhode Island roads, and let's see what it rides like. Realize the Accords are pretty well-riding cars. And really, not bad at all for the original struts with 200,000 miles on them. So keep this in mind when people try to sell you struts. Wait a second, my friend's got a Honda Accord, it's got 200,000 miles. It still goes good with the original struts. Stop trying to sell me crap. He's a conservative driver. I'm not, so. All right, here we go. Listen to the engine. Smooth shift. This thing runs pretty much like it did off the factory showroom 200,000 miles ago. Like I said, one of the best built American cars. The Honda Accord, made in Ohio. Normally aspirated engine. It's got plenty of horsepower. It is a real automatic transmission. It's not one of those CVT jobs that goes like a motorboat down the road. Nothing wrong with this car. He'd be a fool to get rid of it. This is the largest interior Accord they ever made. There's tons of room inside it. He gets over 30 miles a gallon on the highway and 28, 29 mixed use. That's why they sold so many millions of these things. And really, if you would have told my grandfather that the biggest, best made American car is a Japanese car, he'd probably be rolling over in his grave. Build a better car, millions of people will buy them. Unfortunately, a lot of the Hondas now go into smaller engines, turbos, or take the 2-liter Honda non-turbo engine, great engine, but then they made it with a CVT transmission and it loses all the fun of driving. This is fun to drive. It's a real automatic transmission. Still going 200,000 miles later. Just the fluid's been changed. It hadn't any work done on it. The engine still doesn't burn any oil, 200,000 miles. So, hey, in this case, he got more than what he paid for. So, now you know more about the best made American car. It's not even an American car. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Sheba says, how do I bleed my cooling system? I got a 2016 Toyota Corolla. How do you bleed the cooling system? Well, the absolute best way is to use a vacuum system. Most people aren't going to do that. I do. I'm a mechanic. I have a vacuum machine. Take the radiator cap, stick it on, and then it just sucks everything out. Gets all the air out of the system. Then you shut the valve off, then put the hose into a gallon of antifreeze, open the valve, and it'll suck in and get all the air out. Now, if you want to try it yourself, if you got a driveway, park like this so the front is higher. And if possible, if you have a jack the front end up a little bit higher. So the front of the car is high. Then the air will migrate to the front where the radiator cap is. Start it up, put the heater on full blast, and get a fan, put it in front of the car, and let it warm up. Stick your finger by the radiator while it's warming up. Keep pouring coolant in. And eventually, it'll stop bubbling, and then wait until it's warm, then put the cap back on. Then what you want to do is drive it for a day or so, and then when it's cold, check the radiator cap. If it needs any coolant, fill it up. The air will be there, and that'll fix it. That generally works quite fine. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.